Greetings, beautiful. You are listening to Stepping into the Light with Julia Treat. That's me, your host. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not ever hopped on over to my website, my website is juliatreat.com. I have a lot of cool stuff there. I have a couple of really great manifesting meditations that are free when you sign up, one that you do in the morning, one that you do in the evening. And these, by the way, these are meditations to do as an ongoing process. It's not doing them one morning, one evening, and then that's it. It really is. I've created these meditations to help you shift into the art of allowing. So, calling your spiritual team in to help you and then getting out of the way. All right. So, I want to talk today about one of the best manifesting phrases ever that I just got yesterday. So, yesterday was a little funky for me. It's kind of been building this kind of weird vibration within me and kind of questioning some things going on around me in my personal life. And yesterday was just kind of the plateau. And sometimes we got to be taken to that plateau so that we can really get close to God and ask what the hell's going on here. So that's what I did. I was in a funky place. Who knows if it was, well, I do know what it is. You know, we can say, gosh, was it the planetary alignment? Was it this or that? I went to my chiropractor who does network care a couple of weeks ago, and he has 4 different beds you can lay on. One is the wealth and wealth bed. One is wealth, one is wisdom, one is relationships, and one is compassion. And it's funny because every time you go in, everyone's on that wealth bed. And I'm like, you got to heal all parts of your life, okay? It's not just, if you think everything going on with you is just about money, then that's all kinds of crazy. So I laid on the bed that is for relationships. And he giggles. He used to giggle and say, do you know what bed that is? And I'm like, yeah. Because he said most people avoid that bed because when they lay on it, things start coming up in their life in the relationship area that they need to heal. And, you know, the first time he told me that, I said, well, why in the hell do you think I'm on it? This is why I'm on it. Because if there's stuff in there to heal, I want it to come up. That's me, though. I'm always saying, universe, bring it on. What do we got to do next? So even that went through my mind yesterday. I'm like, is this because I lay on that bed? You know, it's so funny. Our ego will say such crazy shit to us. So I realized I'm in a funk yesterday. And okay, so I was depressed. I was anxious. I was scattered. My mind was all over the place. I couldn't focus. And even though this is how I used to be many, many years ago on a regular basis, this is not how I am on a regular basis now. In fact, rarely. So when it does happen, it is such a shift out of my norm, what is norm for me now, that I'll be honest, it almost gets me in some kind of little panic mode or something. So I took my dogs to Elk Mountain. I thought I'm going to do some things that help me get grounded and calm. So I went to Elk Mountain, took my dogs Macy and Gracie for their first trip up to Elk Mountain because I thought, you know, I foresee writing children's books called The Adventures of Macy and Gracie. And so we better start going and having some adventures. Well, it's the first long trip that they've had. I took a long way up there, so it took about 45 minutes. And they were doing great. I was even thinking, I'm so blessed. I have 2 dogs that don't get car sick because my parents' 2 dogs get car sick like driving a mile. Well, it wasn't a few minutes later. I was a mile from Elk Mountain and Macy threw up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, first of all, that's not going to end our adventures. I'm going to see if we can, you know, I'll take them on more, maybe shorter trips and start getting her acclimated to that. But we went to Elk Mountain. We walked around some and, you know, enjoyed the sun. And it was fun. They get very nervous in new situations, so I'm also trying to get them used to that. So I'm changing it up for them, getting them out of their comfort zone. And we got in the car and came home, and I did feel better. I felt a lot better. I just felt I had the windows open and we had the fresh air, and I felt a lot better. So we got home, and those feelings started coming up again, all the stuff. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, is it my house? Like, do I need to clear the house? And I cleared the house. So I used my Palo Santo, cleared the house. Well, still. So I decided to do my old steadfast, wonderful meditation walk behind my house along the river. Now, this river behind my house, it has done so much to help me heal. It's the river that I have on the front of my book. It's not it's not actually a picture of the river behind my house, but I did find a picture for my publisher that looked it resembled the energy of the river behind my house, okay? And it kind of actually looks like an area that I go and sit a lot at. By the way, I've had several people ask me, they listen to these and say, reach out, where do you find your book? It's so easy. Just go to my website, juliatreat.com. Up in the top left corner, there's a tag. It says my book. And it'll take you to Amazon, I believe, and there might be another option like Balboa Press. But it's right there on my website. So on the front of my book is this river. So yesterday I said, that's it. I'm going out for meditation, a walking meditation. So I like to walk and talk with God. Did not take my dogs because that would be distracting for me. I wanted it just to be me. So what I thought was going to be a few minutes ended up being about 90 minutes. So I walked out there. I was walking along the river, and I just knew. I was like, why? I'm talking to God. Why has this old stuff come up again? I know I had some triggers that showed up. So what happens? We have these triggers, and I have them too, obviously. And they show us what still is within us that needs to be healed. That's what they show up for. But it's up to us to catch that, to realize that. Now, I knew as soon as I stepped foot on the riverbank, this is a fucking trigger. These are triggers. It's just triggered stuff in me again. So I'm walking, and, it was so cute. There was one mallard duck, just one male duck, sitting on a little patch of grass. Now, I always see them in pairs behind my house, but this was, a mallard all by himself. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, because that was another sign or angel message from God, that everything I was getting was spot on. So as I'm walking and I'm saying, God, just one of my favorite things to do is say, God, let me see this through your eyes. Now, I hadn't done that. I've been letting this build, but I hadn't asked that. Because when I do, and I get centered, and I get calm, and I get to that meditative state, and I'm always in nature, for me, I will always get divine clarity when I'm in nature and asking, let me see things through your eyes, God. I said, God, what is happening here? Let me see it through your eyes. And his response, and I sometimes, I always say you might hear a voice, you might just know something. It was just this all-encompassing knowing, but at the same time, feeling like I'm hearing. This gentle voice saying, well, I knew immediately it was triggers when I said that, when I asked him to show me through his eyes. And then I heard this, well, how about I can't see, and I can't, sometimes it's so difficult to put into words the message I received from God. So, but it was along the lines of, how about instead I help you, I show you what you need to do to shift out of this. Like, I'm just going to say it like that. That's not how I heard it, but that's the best way I can share it with you. And so I was like, yes. And he said, just repeat this phrase. He said, you have developed some unhealthy attachments. Now, I've known that. Like, I know what unhealthy attachments were, but for some reason it was profound yesterday when he's saying, just say this phrase. Just say this phrase and mean it. I release any and all unhealthy attachments. I release any and all unhealthy attachments. Now, this was a broad, I'm saying this about everything in my life, whether it's things, expectations, events, people. I release any and all unhealthy attachments. And then I would, continue. I let go of all unhealthy and any and all unhealthy attachments in my life. You can elaborate on that. And within like saying it 2 or 3 times and I'm walking, I just felt the shift out of that crappy feeling. Like I felt the sadness, depression lifting. I felt brighter, like had more energy. I felt lighter. I felt the happiness coming back in. This is just saying this 2 or 3 times, walking along the earth. So then I just decided, well, I'm going to start tapping. I'm going to tap in the points, the freedom, the emotional freedom technique. You can tap. I have videos about it. You can find videos on YouTube. But I just started tapping as I was saying it. So you can tap in the vibration that you want. You can tap, the vibration out that you want to release. So I'm tapping and I'm feeling good so much quicker. And I just find this little spot to sit down. There's all these, I sit down in this area by the river. It's like sand and dirt and rocks. And sometimes I find like tumbled glass that's come out of the river. I find all kinds of little treasures. Brings that inner child out in me as I find these little gifts from the universe. And I sit down and I begin looking around and I'm sitting in the middle of all of these tiny little heart rocks. I mean, they are everywhere. Well, they aren't all small, but there were so many little tiny ones, which I immediately thought of then the Rainbow Kids. So I started picking up these little heart rocks, these little baby rocks, and then I found some other bigger ones, and then I found one big one that went in my palm, and I just sat there and I was like, thank you. And I said, well, God, why did I wait so long? Like, I'm so quick in saying, let me see this through your eyes. Why did I wait so long this time? Like, I'm asking God this because I need to know. And he said, because you feared the answer. And I was like, Lordy, Lordy. He knows me well. Like, yes, that's why I hadn't asked. I thought I was going to get a different answer. An answer that I didn't want to hear. An answer that my ego had convinced me I didn't want to hear, so we're not going to tune in because it's not going to be good. When what he showed me, what he told me, was the best manifesting phrase I think I have ever heard. Because when we release and let go of any and all unhealthy attachments in our life, all of the love can show up. So I sat there for probably a good another hour. And I felt like I was in some kind of euphoria. Like I started walking back to my house and I just saw so much life force energy everywhere. In the tree trunks. I could see faces. I could see angel wings physically being there. I just felt so much joy and peace. And so for the rest of the evening, I just, once in a while, I will tune in and just say that phrase over and over. And I actually said it before I went to bed. That was the phrase I was going to say as I went to sleep. Everything can seem that it's going just perfectly. And then a trigger might appear. Something might show up. Something might happen that brings back that old stuff. The stuff that you thought you had healed. The stuff that has to do with you feeling worthy or beautiful or loved. And when we just move into that space of letting go of those unhealthy attachments, because we don't even really, some of them are so deep that we don't even understand that we are holding them, that we have them. So I shifted from a space of very, very low vibration of sadness, depression that I have not felt in a while, into joy and bliss and love and everything is wonderful. Seeing events, people around me, back in that beautiful light again. Somehow I'd fall into that unhealthy attachment that I need someone else to validate me. Talk about unhealthy. So I couldn't wait to share this with you because I felt like this phrase, I think everyone in the world should start using this phrase. I want to make sure that you know, this is clear. When you start using this phrase, I let go of unhealthy attachments. I release any and all unhealthy attachments in my life, and you say it and you mean it. That doesn't mean your partner is going to leave your life. That means the unhealthy parts of your relationship you're going to let go of so that the love can fill both of you up. You understand? I hope you get that. You could have unhealthy attachments to money. Now, here's the kicker, because you're going to think, I'm going to tell you, your programs and conditioning is going to go one way, and I'm going to tell you what the unhealthy attachments are. The unhealthy attachments to money are that you shouldn't want it, that you shouldn't desire it, that it doesn't give you some sort of freedom in your life to travel, to buy what you want, to donate where you want. Your unhealthy attachments to money are that I shouldn't be asking for it, that I should be grateful for what I have, that I should be grateful for this fucking cup that's on my table instead of expecting it to be overflowing. That money equals greed, that money makes you bad, that money is hard to come by. Those are all the unhealthy attachments. I love being able to teach others to tune in and see things through God's eyes, because it changes everything. It changes everything. The people that I'm teaching, the beautiful women I'm teaching in my Healing with the Angels and Masters course right now, I mean, we did a guided meditation where they met part of their team that's going to help them as they move forward as a healer. And I know that they saw things through God's eyes. There wasn't a dry eye in the bunch. And we were all online, with our cameras on, seeing each other. It's like we're in the same room together. But I love it when I shift someone into that and they get to feel it for the first time. That is my hope and prayer for every one of you, that you feel that, you know that, you connect with that, you see things through God's eyes. There is never, ever judgment or ego involved. It is always love, love, love. Even me, I wasted a whole day. And I always say, hey, I'm grateful it was just a day. But several hours in that fucked up vibration that I don't like to be in. And then when I asked God, why did I wait so long? He said, because you feared the answer. My ego had convinced me that it was going to go one way. But when I truly tuned in and said, God, let me see this through your eyes, it was far more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. So how about this becomes your favorite new phrase, and you just start using it and you start meaning it and you feel it in your gut and you're putting it out to the universe and you're saying, I release any and all unhealthy attachments in my life. Thank you. Amen. You tap it, if you know the tapping points, tap while you're driving and say it. I would do it with your children. They don't have to know what it means because vibrationally their soul knows what they're doing. I'm going to be using it now every single day, and I can't ever imagine stopping it. I'm going to continue to use it. I am floored at how quickly that simple phrase put me back into the state that I love to be in. I'm sending massive love to you. I can't wait till we meet again. Namaste.